Oh, these should be our seats. Come on, let's sit down. Hey, traveler. Maybe we should strike up a conversation with the person next to us. Since we're sitting together and the rest of the place is practically empty still, it's kinda awkward if we don't say anything. Oh, you little... Of course you put this on Paimon!
Excuse me, I did not realize you felt awkward. I am terribly sorry. I would be perfectly happy to chat with you if that is what you would like.
Oh, so you heard all of that, did ya? Boy, you sure have good ears. Paimon thought she was... wait, that's not it. Paimon's... Sorry. Paimon's the one who was being rude, talking under her breath like that. So, let's talk, but, Oh, Paimon's got it. You're also here early and sitting in the front.
A friend, you say? Well, if Mr. Lini would like to be my friend, I would be more than happy to receive...
Oh, so you're not friends with Lini, then? Oh, this is getting more awkward by the second. Nice to meet you. Paimon is Paimon, and this is the Traveler. We just arrived in Vaudain.
It is an honor to meet you two. I have heard of your deeds across Tevat. And as required by proper etiquette, I will also introduce myself. I am...
Oh, Monsieur Nervillet, what an honor it is to have you here to see my show.
Ah, Mr. Lini. I should say it is in fact an honor for me to see your performance.
Wait, Nervillet? Could he be...
I saw you all chatting just now, but it seems you still don't know who Monsieur... Allow me to introduce you to Fontaine's Chief Justice. That seat is always reserved for him. It wouldn't be too much to say that he's the symbol of justice and honesty here in Fontaine.
Whoa! Sorry for being so rude just now. Paimon had no idea you were such an important person.
No offense taken. Being Chief Justice is merely what I do for work. Nearly every person has their usual reserved seat, so... And by the way, I should probably let you know, there's someone sitting up there in the VIP seats that has been striking a pose for quite a while now. I believe she is trying to give you a most elegant and impressive first so I think you should take notice of her sooner rather than later, otherwise she may become...
Huh? Oh, it's Farina, the Hydro Archon. Huh. She sure has a smug and satisfied look on her face. Guess she has no idea that you saw...
Very good. That is for the best. No need to pay her any more attention. We may now enjoy the show.
Huh? So is this what things are like between the Chief Justice and the Hydro...
All right, please wait just a moment longer. I've pretty much finished my preparation.
Yay! The show's finally about to start! Oh, they're dimming the lights! The show must be starting! Sorry. Paimon will try...
Welcome, one and all, to the Opera Epiclese. I am the star of today's show, Lini. And over here is my sister, Lynette, who will be working as my wonderful assistant. Please, let's give her a warm welcome.
Hello, everyone.
I know she may seem to be a little sleepy right now, but that's just a sign that she's nervous.
Whatever.
Now, some of you may be thinking, two vision holders who can freely manipulate elemental powers performing magic is not true magic at all. So, I would like to take a moment to assure you that elemental powers will have nothing to do with what you will witness on the stage. Both Lynette and myself have removed our visions for the show. That way, even the gods won't be able to help us.
Oh, Good point. That's what makes the show.
Now, without further ado, let the show begin. Lynette will now exit the stage to make some I know you might miss her, but don't worry. She'll be coming right back on stage momentarily. Oh, and before I forget, there's one. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. A magician's greatest skill is making things disappear or appear. The possibilities are endless. But this isn't what you came for. These little tricks, you've seen them all before. So it's time for something truly extraordinary, don't you think? This one's a little tricky. Using this water tank, I shall make my sister vanish completely, right before your very eyes. It's actually quite simple. She'll just turn into air bubbles and float right out of the top. Oh no! I told them to check all the props carefully. With the lid on, even air can't escape. An amateur magician would be getting very nervous right around now. Luckily, it's me on stage, so let me show you what a true virtuoso can do. Lynette, are you still there? Don't go too far. We don't want to use up all our magic.
Hi, I'm back.
Uh-huh.
Whoa! What in the world just happened? How did he do that? Paimon didn't see him do anything. Wasn't Lynette inside the water tank? How did she disappear and then reappear out of nowhere?
If we could see easily through his tricks, then that would mean that his skills are still lacking. To appreciate magic, you should focus on the show happening on stage, rather than getting caught up in trying to see that which
Guess you're right. Paimon couldn't believe her eyes when Lynette reappeared.
Thank you everyone. I'm glad you. But our magical journey has only just begun. The magic of transformation and disappearance can go far beyond what you've just seen. I'm sure many of you are thinking that escaping the water tank was impressive enough. But Lynette is still, in which case, I have ample time to make all necessary. So, for my next trick, I will require the participant. Please, if my assistants could bring out the. There are 2 boxes and only 2 boxes. One is here. I'm sure many of our clever audience members have already guessed our lucky audience member and I will each enter a magic box. After one. Now please, everyone pay very close attention to the box you see.
Wow! How's he gonna... Hey, do you think this is all magic tricks? Or does Lini have actual superpower?
The lucky audience member will be generated by this random number selector. It selects numbers entirely at random. Even I don't know who. Now then, let's begin. Let me see. Oh, row 7, seat 3. Congratulations! Please, come forward. My assistant will take you beside... I'm sorry, it might be a little cramped inside, but no need to feel nervous. You don't need to do anything if the magic is interrupted.
Oh,
All right. Before I enter the magic box, there is one more thing I need to ask the audience to do. Like this. 60, 59, 58. I won't be able to see anything in the pitch black box, so I'll be relying on your voices to know when time... Oh, and no tricks now. If you quickly count from 60 in just 30 seconds, then I'll be in a tough spot.
Ooh! Paimon kinda wants to count faster after hearing him say this.
No, that won't do. I can see it in your eyes. You still can't... Come on, repeat after me. 60, 59, 58.
60, 59, 58!
That's right, perfect. Keep it going. All right, I'll see you all on the other side once you
54, 53, 52? Huh? Why aren't you counting, Nervalet?
I am counting in my head, merely a consequence of my identity and personality. Do not worry about...
Oh, alright. You look so serious that Paimon thought...
40, 39, 38!
Mr. Lini, are you all right in there?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm just double-checking the direction of the map. It would be a disaster if we get sent to the wrong places. For example...
Even though he's saying that, Lini doesn't seem nervous at all. Ah, what was that noise? Did you hear it too? Not sure. Anyway, it doesn't seem like it...
25, 24, 23!
What's wrong, Mr. Lini? I can still hear you moving in there.
I seem to have accidentally knocked over a decoration. I'm trying to fix it, but it's pitch black in here. I can't tell...
Never mind the decorations. There's no time for that.
No, that's unacceptable. I want my show to be perfect. Don't worry, we still have 20 seconds.
19, 18,
It seems things aren't quite going as planned. It feels like you're all starting to count faster, but that's all right. I know it can be tiring to do such a long... 10 seconds and change is still plenty of time.
10,
Almost there now. Whew. Swapping two people is harder work than you might think. Even a master magician like me can't guarantee I'll get it right the first time. Hey, wait! Is this the back one? I can't tell. They both look the same inside. Huh? No, that's not it. I'll try again.
7,
Hey, slow down! Honestly!
5, 4, 3,
Whoops! That doesn't count!
0.
Ta-da!
What happened?
is this part of the show? Mr. Lini, you're going to use magic to fix the stage now, right?
What happened?
Oh no. Maybe this isn't part of the show. The girl was...
This performance is over. Medical staff with me. Guards, secure the scene and detain all the performers. Seal the exits. No one is allowed in or out at this time.
Yes, that's right. If this was just an accident, then we must investigate the cause. But if this was all part of some scheme, then those accountable will not escape the judgment of the God of Justice.
No need to be alarmed, you two. We'll get to the bottom of this soon enough. Unfortunately, the person who is in the magic box has been pronounced dead. His name was Cowell, one of the assistants in Lini. Apparently, the fireworks on stage ignited the ropes that were suspending the water tank, which then caused the tank to fall onto the stage. As of now, we are still not sure why we found Cowell in the box, rather than the guest from the audience. And after an initial search of the area, the guards have confirmed that the girl... It appears that this incident was not merely some mishap, and there are many indications that it is connected with the case.
That's the case that Charlotte mentioned before!
I know the truth. I can see through the whole thing. Really, using such a shallow and obvious mystery as his finale. Did he really underestimate us that badly? I say that our powerful magician, Mr. Lini, is now the prime suspect for the serial disappearances case.
Huh? Why me? This whole thing was an accident.
Oh, this all occurred during your magic show, did it not? The missing girl disappeared after being chosen, did she not? The deceased is one of your assistants, now that I think about it. That whole speech about magicians making things disappear was nothing more than a provocation,
That can't be right! How could Lini do this? He was in the box on the stage the entire time! We can even hear his voice! Besides, before the show, he told us that he would like to catch the criminal behind the disappearances! He couldn't possibly mean catching himself!
Save discussion for a later time, please. Lady Farina, may I assume that your comments just now constitute an accusation against Mr. Lini and his associates, and that you...
I just think that he... Well, I think it might be a little early to talk about formally pressing charges.
But what Lady Farina said just now makes perfect sense. Looks like she's gonna personally deliver justice.
A kidnapping and murder carried out under the cover of a magic show. Lady Farina said it.
I mean, of course, my dear people. But what excites me even more than the obvious truth before our eyes is the opponent That's right. I mean you, traveler. You'll support Lini, won't you? After all, he... Then there's no problem at all. You know, the Traveler and I all... But with Lini's help, our little duel ended in a draw. But draws really are the most... So, no more draws. Between the two of us, there must be a clear winner and loser. And what better place to hold such a riveting showdown and decide the true victor than here, on the grandest of stages, the Opera Epiclese!
It wasn't a draw. She obviously lost, but...
I understand. Charge it. Well, traveler, seems Lady Farina has set you in her sights. But putting her dramatic rhetoric aside for a moment, are you willing to act as Mr. Lini's attorney and defend him in this case? Very well. The trial will be held a day from now in the Opera House. Both sides may investigate the scene to build their cases and search for the truth. Lini and his troupe are all potential suspects and shall remain with it. The audience may begin to leave in an orderly fashion once they have been cleared.
A day isn't that long. Let's see what kind of case this big-shot outlander can build in such a short amount of time. I'm really quite looking forward to hearing it.
What do we do? The whole situation is so... Good plan.
Just relax. Even if everyone else... Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do.
Thanks, Navia.
Best of luck to you.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your...
To be honest, You might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to.
Well, now, don't you all look disappointed? Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so easily.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session. Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Lini explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items.
Thank you, Mr. Lini. In that, you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began.
Yes, that's correct.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina.
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Lini is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically...
Huh?
Hey, hang on.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
The House of the Hearth?
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatui's doing. Now it all...
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just...
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent, after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Lini, why didn't you tell us this before?
Order! Order! Mr. Lini, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the house. Are these claims true? Please answer my question, Mr. Lini.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What should we do now?
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order! Order, I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
So you would stick to Mr. Lini's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Lini acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the...
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Lini's perspective. As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Lini So Lini proceeded to knock him out too before afterward. Lini passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic... And there you have it.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's...
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events. What Lini experienced and what he saw.
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something to say! When the countdown started, Lini did indeed go into the tunnel. But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, the crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again. And in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view. Therefore, he's innocent! Paimon did it! Paimon...
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right!
My reasoning?
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Lini only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What?
Oh, that?
That's right, you tell him! And that's why they're partners of mine. They've
Well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims? Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that? You're saying that he wasn't?
That's right! Lini wasn't in the box or in... This means that when the crime happened, Lini had already entered the same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! Ha ha! How do you like that?
Well played.
To think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Lini who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Huh? That can't be right. Are you... The killer was, in fact, Cowl!
Oh, is that so? How interesting! Let's hear your reasoning then.
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowl did, and how he went from would-be
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
I see how it is. So this was all just a bluff. And here...
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not consider a different track? Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly...
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera house than an awkward delay.
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method where a...
Oh, just a moment, please. I do hope you know how preposterous you sound at the moment. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about. Must we really? I should think that of anyone, your friend. Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real.
Even so, I trust the Traveler's judgment. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to... Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that additional evidence may help us make more progress. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are water from the primordial sea. The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which one of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is...
You gotta be kidding! People dissolving into...
Could something so...
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but...
Huh. If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And wait just a minute. Could that mean...
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results, but we cannot yet verify the veracity of... Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Lini, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence.
Of course. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this cases...
Right! Like the metal hut! Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with the... It's ace! In the original plan, Cowell would tamper with the water tank rope and the numbers so when the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce when the balloon attached to the box popped. The water from the primordial seeds. Afterward, Cowell would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel and wound up being fatally hit the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I falsely accused an innocent person? What a humiliation.
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led... His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to this...
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating... I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just in... And we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Lini's personal...
What?
That can't be.
Oh, I see. Well, how wonderfully comedic. Does this not clear all... My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring this Lini did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via having made modifications to the props beforehand. His accomplice Cowell, but upon his return, in cruel avarice, Lini desired Ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion...
Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move.
I think we've all seen enough now. And we have, I believe, this is indeed the finale. Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view,
Excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout, and to
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see? I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh. What?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a...
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to... Come on, Lini and Lynette, give it another go. Don't worry. But as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
I understand.
And voila!
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So, the whole thing about...
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would... I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me. And then, before I knew it, she...
That'll teach you to underestimate...
Where should I begin? I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed Cowl.
What? What?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Lini's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Lini was the one who caught me and...
Hey! No wonder you look familiar. So you were the... Lini even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was onto me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee, but then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the... There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance... I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no...
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now.
This time, we need to tell the entire...
And it's Ace Detective Having been selected out of the blue, Lillian panicked. Her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kept hearing the commotion. Cowl leapt into the tunnel, only to he did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine. Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect, the two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian came out on top. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in... She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So,
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
At this point, all the events that happened in the
So that's the whole... Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statement? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
What? Are you reading my mind now? No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow! Look at that! She's like a deflated balloon now!
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the... With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Liliane was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Liliane, thinking that However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box. Liliane, according to her... As for Lini, he was in the underground structures. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that... While there is much in Lini and Liliane's conduct that should... This case, at least, can be handed over to the oratories to make the final decision. As such, Lini and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Victory for Ace Detective Paimon!
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve an... How did you find the water from the primordial sea?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that...
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Lini, but you, yes? I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Lini, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to set. Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the god.
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent mora off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about.
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.